Muslim converts jihad plot exposed, UK mosque targeted. So this is a situation where the converts be crazier than the other Muslims gonna go attack the other Muslims. So we got a problem here. Okay, in the United Kingdom, in a chilling case of homegrown extremism, UK Muslim convert Jason Savage has been convicted of plotting a terrorist attack on a Birmingham mosque and an Islamic cleric known for opposing terrorism. Surveillance footage captured Savage scouting the mosque in Small Heath, where he ominously stated, I just need the means now. Ask Allah to give man's the means, bro. Sorry. I'll show you guys the video later. It's like the most stereotypical, like roadman-esque, like dawa bro ever. It's so cringe. Prosecutors revealed that he had researched knife fighting techniques and shared a video of Osama bin Laden and had insisted that his targets needed to be hunted down. His radicalization, linked to an extreme faction of the Salafist movement, led him to see even other Muslims as enemies. Savage was caught after unknowingly messaging an undercover officer about waiting for an opportunity to present itself. His conviction, following a 3-week trial, underscores the persistent threat of ideological extremism in the dangerous influence of online radicalization. His sentencing is set for April 11th, with authorities investigating his full network and motives. Okay, so let's recap here. This is a problem where someone converts to Islam and they actually become more extreme than their local Muslim population. And actually, this guy went to go hunt down and kill an imam in Birmingham because the imam was against Islamism. And the imam was against extremism.
Wow.
So this guy
Like,
took it upon himself to go murder the local imam. And this is pretty similar. Well, there's some differences, but you guys will remember a few months ago, we covered a story that actually happened several years ago. I can't remember exactly when, but the recap of the story is that there was an imam who was from Bangladesh, and then there were two young Muslim men, one of whom ended up joining ISIS, I think, or they were ISIS sympathizers at the very least. And these young Muslim guys went and targeted that imam and assassinated him because they thought the imam was doing deviant black magic rituals. Do you remember that story? And then one of them ended up fleeing the country. And I think they think he ended up in Syria and is probably dead. So this is a problem of like, I guess you would call it like internal uh again, Valerie, this is a genuine question I have.
I don't
Why
know.
are they always ginger? This is an actual thing that at this point, this needs to be studied.
This needs to be studied. Like, are we like seeing trends that are not here? Why is it that white people who convert to Islam, like there's the ginger ones in them is so high? Like, is this like, are we imagining things that are not there, or is
Dude,
this
I didn't
real?
even think about it. I went undercover at a charity event for a Hamas aligned charity recently, and I was chilling and I sat at a table with this couple, and the husband was like very obviously a convert. He was ginger. I didn't even think about it. I'm just
Why
thinking about it right now. Guys,
is it?
what is
Are
going on?
I don't
My
understand.
only
Hmm.
my suspicion is that they get bullied for being ginger
Yes.
and having no soul, and they're like, because that was like a meme, at least when I was growing up, like, gingers have no soul, and then maybe they're like, "You know
Yeah.
what? You know who does guarantee my soul? Allah."
It's-
I don't know. This is my only theory. I'm not even
Yeah,
kidding.
well, I mean, the way I would phrase it is that I think maybe being ginger gets you isolated in school, right? As a child, and then being isolated. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. Let's see. Like, there needs to be a study. And then if you're isolated and lonely, you're desperate for a community, and becoming a Muslim is one way of gaining a community. Is that maybe that's it? Is that it? I'm just my guess.
I don't know.
The, the lesson is, guys, don't bully gingers in school, or else they're gonna go ISIS on you eventually when they grow up.
Dude, I
Okay, so
think this
stop.
might be a national security threat at this point. Like, what is going on? Oh, Armin, before I
Yes.
forget, in the private chat, I just put a video that I want to show for this story that I forgot to include. So if you could go quickly download that, that'd be super helpful. But I wanted
Oh,
to give a few more details about this case. So basically, this guy ended up converting to Islam, becoming super radicalized, being part of an extreme part of the Salafi movement. And he had a huge problem with this this mosque. Now, the thing that's interesting, a lot of people don't understand that there's actually like a lot of diversity within Salafism. So the mosque, and they had a shop and a publishing house all associated with itself, advocated for a strand of Salafism that involved that stressed the importance of non-involvement in social and political activism. So, like, they were still Salafis, but they're like, we think that we should have non-involvement in certain areas of social life and politics. And the cleric that this guy was targeting was an outspoken critic of Islamist terrorism, and he would say that this terrorism is incompatible with the true essence of Islam. And this convert became convinced that this imam was a disbeliever, and he had strong disapproval of disbelievers, and he was saying that he needed to some of the quotes that were included were that he needed to put his head on the chopping block, and that he needed to be hunted down. And he published all these videos of him. Well, he didn't publish them, but they found all these videos of him casing out the joint. um so we can actually show that video right now.
One that way. Another road here. One that way. That seems like the best way. That seems like the best way to get away from. Police will probably come from that way and that way.
wait, he
I
recorded this?
Yeah, he was like on his phone, like recording his notes on his escape tactics, and his notes on where to go. There was another video that I can't find right
Why would
now,
he
but I
put
remember.
what? Who is he? Who is he explaining it to? To himself for future
Yeah,
reference?
I don't know,
Like he
or
would forget
maybe
that?
because
Yeah.
he was messaging someone that he didn't know was actually like undercover police, and so maybe he was
Mm,
sending it to his undercover
mm.
contact, because in one of the videos that I remember watching where he's like, oh man, what's the quote? The quote is so funny because it's just so, I don't know how to put it. He just it's just like my mental stereotype of a UK roadman. Like um what is the quote? Oh god damn it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just need the means now. Ask Allah to give the means. I can't do the accent,
Oh,
but ask Allah to give man's the means, bro. Like, I don't know.
nice.
Just talking in those terms about these things is like so weird and funny to
It's
me.
it's so interesting. It's so funny to hear all these Islamic sayings that we grew up with, but from in British accent and from
Yeah, bruv.
like even no,
Ask
but
Allah to
like
give man's the means, bruv. Like, what?
Yeah, but it was originally weird for us, like people who grew up in Muslim countries, to see even Muslim looking people like Pakistanis in the UK speaking about these terms but with British accent. That took some getting used to. And now it's another level of getting used to it's not just British sounding, it's also British looking people
Yeah,
are saying the very same things that we were like, wow, like dude, like this is like these words are coming out of your mouth doesn't just like it doesn't match what we are used to. Like how is this coming from you? Like, and you know what I mean? Like it takes some getting used to. It's
yeah.
weird.
Um,
Yeah, sorry.
but yeah, anyways, so we've reached a situation where the converts are coming after the original Muslims. And it's actually interesting. There is some evidence that indicate that converts are disproportionately involved in terrorist activities
Yeah.
because it comes up so often that I started to look into this, and their converts are disproportionately likely to commit
Yeah.
terrorism.
This is how I would explain it, okay? It's not that crazy. Even though Islam is crazy, it's not that crazy for you to believe in the crazy that you grew up with. I get that. It's just
Yeah.
human. Okay, it's human for you, even though the ideology is absolute nonsense. Humans are followers. Humans are social animals who are followers. So if you grew up in it, you would more likely believe in it, even if it makes no sense. But it takes a whole other level of crazy for this not to be the ideology you grew up with, and you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Okay, that takes a level of insanity that whoever is converting to Islam, they're more crazy than people who grew up Muslim, like a lot. Like I mean, I would say that the people who grew up Muslim, they're not even crazy. It's just like they're doing what humans do. Okay, but if you were not Muslim, and if you're choosing Islam as their true religion, then I don't know, man. You're a different level. You're completely a different level. So I don't know. I don't get
So,
you.
for comparison, there was one study that found that 16% of Islamism related offenses in the UK are committed by converts, which is 4 times higher than their estimated population in the overall Muslim, their estimated proportion in the overall Muslim population. That's crazy. um, CC had an interesting comment. He's saying that makes sense. I think it's because they generally think deeply before they convert, so they have a strong affinity to radicalism, whereas the average Muslim doesn't think about it. They're just Muslim. Yeah, exactly. It's just the culture in which you're
Yeah.
raised. It's just who you're around. You're like, oh yeah, well this is what we do in my family. Blah blah blah.
Right.
And Zayd is saying along those lines that the convert zeal is a well documented phenomenon and not just in Islam. I would agree. I
Yes.
think another aspect of it is that they I I have I think people will know what I'm talking about when I say that I have watched a lot of videos about converts to Islam talking about the severe difficulties they face as reverts in the Muslim community and how they are treated, to some extent very welcomingly because they're like very excited to have a convert in their midst. But there's another element where they're treated with a sense of suspicion or they're held
Right.
to a very tough standard that's difficult for them to adjust to in a short amount of time. Like if someone converts, but they had a pet dog and Muslims are pressuring them to get rid of their dog. It's like, well, I'm not going to get rid of my dog.
Or
I took on the responsibility of taking care of this animal. Or if they had tattoos, it's like, no, like they're looked at suspicion because they have all these tattoos. It's like, well, that was my life before. Like I should be forgiven for that. Like, or maybe it's going to take
right.
time for me to work on
Or
removing
makeup. Or
makeup.
if you're a convert, if you're a convert that doesn't wear the hijab or at the beginning, they are okay with that. But if you continue not to wear the hijab, like you've been a Muslim for 1 year and you're still not wearing the hijab, then people are like, okay, okay. Like if you're wearing makeup, then you're gonna get a lot of pressure from
You're
the
gonna have
ummah.
some issues with
Um,
the haram police. And the problem is that I have seen, just in my observation, anecdotal experience, a lot of converts try to be more intense than the born Muslims to show that they're actually, like, legit. Like, they have to overcompensate, basically, is what I'm trying to
Yes.
say.
So
Like, on
so
the,
if you were,
The
yeah,
the white
overcome.
guy who's the convert at the Five Pillars newsroom in the UK, I think
Mm.
his name is Richard or Robert. He says some stuff that makes the other hosts who are, like, Bangladeshi or Pakistani go like, "Whoa, well, we don't mean that," but he says this, like, more intense stuff t like, he said that we need the Taliban in the UK, and they're like, "Hold up," like,
Hold up.
and I'm like, Richard, sir, Richard, you don't need to overcompensate so hard. We know that you're Muslim. It's okay that you're
Right.
white. Like, god damn.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, if you get, for example, an average Muslim woman in the UK who grew up in a Muslim family who doesn't wear the hijab, I mean, she might get some comments that why you're not wearing the hijab. But if you're a convert Muslim woman who's not wearing the hijab, then you're more likely to be told that you're not doing Islam properly. And also, this is causes some infighting between the Muslim community itself. Some Muslims were like, "Why is everybody attacking her? Like she became a Muslim, and now other people are going to see her bad experience, and they're not going to turn Muslim." And other Muslims are like, "Well, because we have to. What are you talking about? The Quran is telling us to do Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy Munkar. We
It's
have
our
to tell her
obligation.
that, yeah, it's an obligation for us to tell her that she's not doing Islam properly." Okay, so that's an infighting within the Muslim community that you see how the way they treat new converts is actually there's a lot of drama within themselves. Some people, some Muslim criticize other Muslims.
They also
Also,
say it's
one thing
very
I
difficult
noticed,
for marriage.
yes, this is what I was going to say. The white women who become Muslim, they get a lot of support from Muslim men and a lot of attacks from Muslim women. And there's a jealousy here, I think, because Muslim men, they love a white Muslim woman convert. Okay. This is like the most ideal, but the level of attention and that they get, a lot of Muslim women who are not white, they will attack her because they're noticing that they call out their Muslim brothers for chasing, like, what is it? Are we not Muslim enough for you? Like, why all of a sudden this woman is getting all of this attention? Like, are you guys racist? Do you guys just like white women? Oh, why is a woman who's just became Muslim yesterday getting this much attention compared to somebody who has been Muslim all their lives? Like, shouldn't that be your priority? Somebody who understands Islamic tradition, wouldn't a
Yeah.
Muslim woman who understands Islam more fully be a more compatible partner? So there's a lot of jealousy and infighting going on there. Um, and also, just one more thing about the average Muslim. So you see Muslim converts, they care about Muslim on average more. I want people on this channel to understand that the average Muslim out there doesn't really think about Islam that much. Okay, like the average Muslim that out there, they're actually, if you could read their minds throughout the day, they're mostly like
They gotta go to
they're
work,
focusing
man.
on, they have to go to work, they're brushing their teeth, they're thinking about how to pass their grade, and in fact, this is
Dealing with their
something that
kids
some
fighting with each other.
Yes, yes, they don't like, and this is something that's a lot of religious Muslims hate, the fact that most Muslims are don't think about Islam that much, or they're not as knowledgeable about Islam. They don't even care to go and educate themselves more about Islam. It's not a priority thing. It's not on their minds all the time, okay, or even most of the time. Even the Muslims who pray 5 times a day, even them, when they go through these things, it's just like they don't think they think about it as much as you're focusing on brushing your teeth every day when you do it, because like brushing your teeth for you is a habit that you do every day, right? Hopefully at least twice a day, right? But you don't think about it, like, you don't, it's not something like your intention, like it's just something you do to get it done and go. So we have minimalist Muslims and nominal Muslims, and minimalist Muslims and nominal Muslims are the vast majority of Muslims worldwide. Minimalist Muslims are Muslims who do the bare minimum, like they fast and pray, and they don't drink and don't eat pork, and that's about it. That's
Sometimes they don't
about
even
the
do
min.
that.
But that's nominal Muslims.
Ah,
Nominal Muslims are Muslims. Nominal Muslims are Muslims who, if you ask them if you're a Muslim, they will say yes. But their life is almost identical to somebody who's not a Muslim, right? And
mm,
we have in between these two. Okay, so nominal Muslims and minimalist Muslims are the vast majority of Muslims out there, right? And this is not because of Islamic reform, because reformist Muslims are not nominal Muslims or minimalist Muslims, because reformist Muslims actually think about Islam and have a, and have a, and put some thought into it, and uh, their mind is occupied by it. I'm not talking about reformist Muslims. Okay, a lot of times reformist Muslims try to take credit for minimalist Muslims and nominal Muslims, but it has nothing to do with them. The reformist Muslims are fewer in number, more than the conservative or extremist number. They're actually the lowest
fact.
number, and because they're so low in number, they try to take credit for the peacefulness of nominal Muslims and minimalist Muslims. Then the peacefulness of nominal Muslims and minimalist Muslims has nothing to do with the reformist Muslims. These people are ignoring Islam. Reformist Muslims are people who think about Islam and try to come up with a different interpretation, but these two other Muslims, they're just ignoring it. Okay, so that's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm curious for the Muslims in the live chat about our take regarding the zeal and overcompensation of converts. Is this something that you've seen in your community? I'd be
yeah,
very curious to hear. Um, so shall we go through the comments
yeah,
that Dee found for us?
yeah.
Um,
Yes.
again, someone say
the first,
Ginger
the first
again.
comment.
This needs to be studied in a lab. This needs to be
Right.
studied in a lab at this point.
By the way, guys, we're not encouraging on this channel for you guys to be suspicious of ginger people. Okay, please stop ginger bullying. Okay, this is not what we're
No,
advocating
at
for.
this
In
point, this
fact,
is a plea. This is a plea.
yes, yeah.
We need to nip this in the
Okay, so
bud.
no hate. We are not encouraging any hate or bigotry towards gingers. Okay, please do not do
Yeah, that was the
that.
video I showed. It goes to show
Weird
that
shit.
Muslims in the UK or in Europe aren't even safe from other Muslims. Yeah, and this person is saying converts have a tendency to be the worst believers. Well, I
Yeah,
don't know
well,
if I'm not gonna be nitpicky. I know.
worse from our perspective, the more
Yeah.
religious you are, the worse that is. So yeah, the worse I would say.
Oh my God, this person is okay. So this is just a white supremacist. Jesus Christ, with the account "Fight White Extinction." Saying if it was on a
Wow.
mosque, should have let him crack on. No, no, thank
No.
you. We condemn
This is
this in the
wow.
strongest terms. Don't be
Wow. This
so
guy
lame.
is this is a different level of crazy
Yeah, no,
from the
that's
other side.
Jesus.
Okay.
Cece, as a Muslim, is saying, my family agrees to the more religious you are, the more annoying you are.
This is a Muslim family
No,
saying
that's actually how Armin's family, who were nominal Muslims, felt when he was going through his Basiji phase. They're like,
Yes, yes. My family, when I was in Iran, I would consider my family at that point to be nominal Muslims. When I became an atheist, my family's reaction was like, "Oh, thank God," because they couldn't handle my religious phase. Okay.
I wish my son would stop fucking trying to make me pray all the time. God damn.
Yeah.
Let a man live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My dad was an it because my dad was, when he was drinking his whiskey, I was like a morality police in the house. I was like trying to stop him. My dad was fucking annoyed with that. Like,
I felt so bad for young Armin though, because you were so terrified for their soul. And you suffered
yeah,
so much because of that.
every night I was
That's so
imagining them burning in
sad.
hell. Yeah. No, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't trying to implement Sharia in our home. I was trying to save my parents from burning in hell. Do you know how? Yeah. For people who are new here, I was very concerned about me and my family burning in hell, and I actually burned my skin when I was a kid just to see how much it hurts to burn, just to experience the pain. And I could. That's why I was so desperate to try to save my mom and my dad, because they weren't doing anything Islamic. Yeah. So
It's so
that's that
sad.
story. So
Well, it's
shit.
also why you jumped out of a window, but that's a different story.
That's a different story. Yeah.
People are like, "What?" um
What? Yeah.
okay, so let's go to the next story.
What about the super chat?
Oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we got some. Yay,
Yeah, thank you
amazing.
guys.
Yeah, thank you. Gaijin is saying it was considered bad to deface the Little Red Book, but when Lin Bao, so he's talking about China, guys, but when Lin Bao was purged, it became anti revolutionary to not tear out the page of Lin Bao. Oh,
Mm.
oh, how the turntables. um, Bull McLeod gave a super chat. Oh, he's commenting on the convert wannabe terrorist, saying his widow's peak is sharp enough to be a weapon. I love a widow's peak. I love a widow's peak on a man. Um, John celebrating his membership for 9 months. Thank you for supporting the show for 9 months. Saying
Yeah.
regarding gingers, laughing my ass off. Have you heard of Hisham Kabani? No, I'm better with
No.
faces. Hisham Kabani, Lebanese Islamic scholar. No, what does this have to do with gingers? He's a
Well,
Lebanese
I mean, he's
scholar.
old. Maybe he was when he was younger. He had ginger. He was a ginger, but he
He
looks
appears
very
to be a
white.
Sufi with a
No, we
giant
haven't had
beard.
epic beard.
Kabani
Yeah.
has counseled and advised Muslim leaders to build community resilience against violent extremism. Oh, maybe that was the connection because of the guy that the convert was planning to attack. Um and GJ gave 2 super chats. One saying, side note, UK politics YouTube channel Different Bias polled that from Farage, Robinson, Trump, and Musk, his viewers strongly dislike / hate Musk the most. I mean, I have no idea whose audience is and what the makeup of the audience is. Is this a left-leaning channel? Is this a right-leaning channel? Is the audience mostly in the UK? Or are they mostly outside the UK? I have questions. Go
Well,
ahead.
with regards to gingers and Muslims, I want people to on our audience to be educated. Not some Salafis paint their beards red. Okay, so don't confuse them with ginger converts. Okay,
That's fair.
and the reason, yeah, and the reason why Salafis paint their beard red is because apparently Muhammad did that for beauty reasons, to look good, and they're just copying his um model. They also, Muhammad apparently used makeup on his eyes. He used an eyeliner, and some Muslims,
Some
if you've
coal?
noticed them doing that, huh? Coal, yeah,
Like
something like that.
coal?
Yeah, coal.
I kinda
So
like a
some
man with
Muslims
coal.
actually,
Sometimes it's hot. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. So I've
Oof.
seen some Shia Muslims do that as a way to copy Muhammad doing that. So there's that too.
I don't
Yeah, to
blame
look
him.
good. Yeah, you're real. Yeah.
Sometimes it does look good. It looks great even.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
not
not
making
gonna be
this
a
up.
hater.
This is apparently.
Coal also apparently can help people in really dry, arid environments, I've heard. There's some way that it helps your eyes in the desert. That could be
Hmm.
bullshit, but Gasian American gave a super chat. Thank you, Gasian, saying some Buddhist converts suffer from longum diseases where they meditate for so long they hear voices and have self-deletion ideation. This is a real problem, and actually, this is used as an indoctrination tactic in a lot of abusive cults. Um, to be honest. So yeah. When converting, consult with a doctor. Um, so let us go to the next story.
Look,
Oh,
wait, look. This is like what they do. Like, this is the look. But I don't understand, who was Muhammad trying to impress? His wives?
You know, he's a strong, independent man. He can do what he wants. He's confident in himself.
Because he also seemed to be very obsessed with the smell of his mouth. At one time, he was accused of having a bad smell for coming from his mouth, and apparently he was very traumatized by that.
I mean, I'm not gonna be a hater. I think we all appreciate, oral hygiene.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.